was delivered to this very spot at Verde Park by a redwood tunnel that extended for 30 miles to the east and the northeast. Part of the city waterworks in 1938 was this pump house. It was built with the intention of being an emergency pump house. Water has always been an important element of thriving in the Valley of the Sun. This pump house represents one of the few remaining structures that show how that water was transported in the early 20th century. And it's a wonderful piece of architecture here in the southwest corner of the Garfield Historic District that we can all continue to enjoy here at Verde Park.
Welcome to the Cesar Chavez Community Center, the City of Phoenix's newest recreation center here in the beautiful Levine Village. Come, I'll take you around. Over here you will see the Cesar Chavez timeline. It's a great piece of work. As soon as you walk into the facility, you can see all the impact that Cesar Chavez has had in Arizona, and it's for you guys to see when you guys arrive. This here is our lovely gymnasium. It has basketball capacity, volleyball, pickleball. We have wonderful courts that are meant for youth and adult spaces. And this is also included in your membership when you register at phoenix.gov or at our front desk. Welcome to our multi-purpose room. This room is designed to have special events, meetings, take classes. It seats anywhere between 80 to 100 people and is reservable. This is our beautiful courtyard, along with lawn games where families can come and enjoy the beautiful Arizona weather. This space is also available to reserve for special occasions and special gatherings. And this is our beautiful teaching style kitchen that we have here at the Cesar Chavez Community Center. It is designed to teach classes here in our community. So if you're interested in cooking 101 or maybe baking, this might be a good class for you to come and take. We have stoves, refrigerators, microwaves, and I know this will be a great place for you to come and enjoy and learn to cook. And this is our wonderful game room space where it's designed for youth and adults to come hang out and engage in a friendly game of pool table, hockey, or foosball. This is also a great space for parents to come hang out while their children are taking classes here at our lovely community center. This is one of the amenities that is included in your membership here at the Cesar Chavez Community Center. And this is our beautiful upstairs fitness center that is designed with cardio machines, free weights, weight machines, and if fitness is one of your goals, this might be a place for you. Out here, we have this beautiful view of the Estrella Mountains, where while you're working out, you can have a great view here. This also has an outdoor space that is designed to take a class, maybe like an outdoor yoga or meditation class. Also a reservable space, so if you have a meeting and you'd like to enjoy the beautiful weather here in Levine, this might be the spot for you. And this is our wonderful indoor walking track. So if you don't want to be outside, you want to get out of the sun for a little bit, you can come in here and take some laps. It is used to walk or run, and keep in mind 14 laps is 1 mile. To the side you will see all of our Levine historic photos. These photos date back to the 50s, and you will see some of the lovely traditions that still happen here in the Levine Village, such as the barbecue parade and the Levine Parade.
Welcome to the the 2026 NCAA Women's Final Four Tip-Off Press Conference. My name is Autumn Johnson. I am the host and reporter of March Madness Women's Basketball. And today I have the honor and privilege of being your MC for this conference to get us ready for the Final Four here in Phoenix. How are we feeling? Yes. In fact, this is the first time since Denver 2012 that we'll bring the Final Four back to the West Coast. We are so excited, and we can't wait to see which four teams will meet us here today. Jam-packed hour ahead of us. You'll hear from many key people and also partners involved in making this championship experience the best of the best. We'll talk about the Women's Final Four, what it means to women's basketball, the community, and fans. So let's get right into it. Please help me welcome the CEO of the Phoenix Final Four Local Organizing Committee, Jay Perry. Autumn, thank you so much. We love the pink suit here in Phoenix. You're rocking it. And good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Phoenix Final Four Local Organizing Committee, thank you for being here to tip off this amazing event that we are so excited to host. In just a few weeks, Phoenix will host the Women's Final Four for the first time. And at this moment, it's incredible when women's basketball is capturing more attention, more energy, more enthusiasm than ever before. We're seeing record-breaking attendance, incredible viewership, and just fans showing up in really powerful ways, not just across our country, but across the world. Last year at the Women's Final Four in Tampa, we saw fans travel from 50 states, but also 23 countries. This is definitely a global game, and all of them want to be a part of this championship experience. That is the reach of this game. And here in Arizona, we're ready to not only meet that moment, but to exceed expectations and make this the best women's Final Four yet. Right? As Autumn said, today we are 37 days away from Friday, April 3rd, when the semifinals will tip off right here at the amazing Mortgage Matchup Center. We're looking forward to 3 unforgettable basketball games. And almost as important, we're also looking forward to the larger impact the championship will have on our state. The Women's Final Four will drive tourism and economic activity across Arizona. It'll create philanthropic benefit through many programs we're doing in the community and shine a global spotlight on Arizona as a world-class destination, as a place to live, as a place to do business, and of course to host major mega sporting events like the Women's Final Four. We are in excellent shape from a planning and preparation standpoint, and we're ready to deliver an extraordinary experience for student athletes, for the fans, for the media, and of course for our community. There are countless people to thank for getting ready and getting us to this point to bring this championship to life, and I want to mention just a few. First, the NCAA, Lynn Holzman, and her staff. Thank you for entrusting us with this major basketball event, and thank you for letting us work alongside you to make this really a phenomenal women's Final Four. We could not be more excited about it. To our host institution, I agree, let's clap for them. To our host institution, Arizona State University, Graham Rossini, his staff, we thank you for collaborating with us and really supporting the student-athlete experience and also just the championship at the very highest level. And Player 15 group, Josh Bartelstein, you'll hear from, Paul Rivers, your team, thank you for opening your home to us to create what's going to be an incredible environment for this championship inside Mortgage Matchup Center. And of course, thank you to all of our local supporting partners. Many of you are here today. We couldn't do it without this incredible team in Arizona, and everybody is really coming together to make this a special event in 37 days. Today, you'll hear from leaders who are helping shape the championship, but also shape the women's game, with conversations around the future game, the growth of the game, the fan experience, and then the community impacts that'll be happening here in Arizona. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs is a strong supporter of major events, and especially of the Women's Final Four. So come event week, the world's eyes will be on downtown Phoenix, and all the stakeholders in downtown Phoenix have rallied to elevate the visitor experience. And so I want to give a shout out to the mayor's office, the city manager's staff, our city council members that are here but are supporting even if they're not here, to Visit Phoenix, to Downtown Phoenix Inc., and many, many more that have been tremendous teammates in this endeavor. It takes a village, and we've got an amazing village here in downtown Phoenix. It is my honor to introduce the leader of the city of Phoenix, a champion for women, and dare I say, a rabid women's basketball fan. We are in good hands with Mayor Kate Gallego. Thank you, Coach. Championship Valley rises again. I'm so excited to welcome the women's Final Four to downtown Phoenix. Jay, thank you for your leadership, and to all of our incredible partners from the NCAA to Sun Devil Athletics and Player 15 Group. We are going to put on a great show. The national championship and incredible fun, friendly activities for the whole family are coming to downtown Phoenix. We do an incredible job at major events, and I'm confident, Jay, that we can rise to your challenge. This will be the best women's Final Four. I am so thrilled to be here with my colleagues at the City of Phoenix. Could our Phoenix City Council members please stand? So Vice Mayor Hodge Washington, Councilwoman Betty Guardado, Councilwoman Ana Hernandez, and Councilwoman Ann O'Brien. You may notice we're a supermajority women. The fact that we have so many women in leadership in Arizona makes this Final Four even more exciting. We also have a great professional team at the City of Phoenix, including our lead on major events, Cynthia Aguilar, who is here with us, and so many great people at the City of Phoenix who are working so hard to make sure that this is a really special event for the entire community.
And I'm so proud to be mayor of a great basketball town, Phoenix, Arizona. What a year we have had with women's basketball, Coach Miller, and the incredible performance of our Sun Devils. They are so much fun to watch and just really care about the whole community. And I gotta be honest, it's coming off an incredible season for our Mercury, so. The Women's Final Four represents the pinnacle of women's college basketball, and Phoenix is so proud to stand with these incredible athletes. The championship celebrates more than greatness on the court. It builds on our success and commitment to supporting major events. We win big with local impacts for our community. We'll have a chance to celebrate thought leadership that discuss excellence in our city, support for women, and the incredible sports business environment we have here. We're in an era where now sports is an asset class you want to be invested in, and we have so many great leading companies here we'll get a chance to showcase. As the mother of a third grader, I am very excited to celebrate the Read to the Final Four, to celebrate the next generation academically. Anytime you can get more kids reading is good news to me, and just those in the environment. Those are some competitive third graders about who can read more, and they really feel the pride in the community and are very excited. So thank you to our partners at Helios for that partnership. We are also thrilled that the NCAA Women's Final Four Legacy Project, presented by Dove, will strengthen the Alhambra Village neighborhood with vital renovations at the Washington Activity Center and Councilwoman Guardado's district. And we can't wait to see the finishing touches unveiled early in April. We have some incredible young athletes here, and they are really going to enjoy this great investment. There'll be so many free events, you just have to register. Within my household, the bounce is also a favorite, although at a previous Final Four, my child thought it was a race. But great to see those basketballs bouncing through the city of Phoenix. The great basketball is a wonderful matchup for our great city of Phoenix weather. If all of our media partners could report on what the weather is like in the rest of the country right now, we would really appreciate that. We're going to showcase our culture, our beautiful weather, and our friendly hospitality. So we're ready to be the center of women's basketball universe, and take a look at the screens for a glimpse of what is yet to come.
Let's go. Shout out to Cindy Brunson, getting us hyped. as we know, women's basketball is on the rise, and it's so fun to be a part of it. And what we're seeing today is sustained success, investment, and true commitment to the game. And that's what we're going to talk about in the first of two panels that we have set today. The second panel will focus on the free fan events and community initiatives coming to Phoenix as a part of the Women's Final Four. But I have a star-studded panel alongside of me, some heavy hitters joining me on the stage. Let's get right into it. I am honored to be joined by Amanda Braun, chair of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Committee, which oversees the D1 Women's Basketball Championship, focusing on student-athlete welfare and ensuring a fair, high-quality tournament. She has also served as the director of athletics at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee since 2013. And Lynn Holzman, NCAA Vice President for Women's Basketball since 2018. Lynn is responsible for the strategic direction of NCAA Women's Basketball, along with the oversight, operations, and management of the Divisions 1, 2, and 3 Women's Basketball Championships and the Women's Basketball Invitation Tournament. And Molly Miller at the end, who is in her 10th year as a college basketball head coach, in her first year as a head coach at Arizona State. And man, our host institution, by the way, what an incredible season we are seeing from Coach Miller. She has already made a splash. Her team started off the season with 15 consecutive wins. That's the best start, yes please, in program history. Give it up. And on February 14th, she set the record for the most wins by a first-year head coach in ASU women's basketball history. As I mentioned, star-studded. Let's get right into it and dive in. I want to start with the fans because we are seeing a surge in attendance, TV ratings, and of course, social media as well. I'll start with you, Molly. When you look at what we're seeing and who we're seeing show up for women's basketball, what have you noticed, and how has that been different in the past 5 to 6 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the past 5 to 6 years, you had basketball purists show up. And they had a reason because they love the game of basketball. And now I think there's more interest in the stories and the players and the coaches and the programs, which really sparks interest from corporations to get involved, to alumni to come back and get involved. But what I'm really seeing in the arenas that I love are the little boys and girls with Sharpies that are ready at the tunnel. Little girls that have the same hairstyle as some of our players. I say that because I have a 9-year-old, Crosby. And her basketball team came to a game, and Marley, one of our players, had her hair in a bubble braid. So she has a ponytail, and she's got little sections of hair ties. Well, we played on a Saturday. The whole team came. And then on Sunday, I went to Crosby's game. Their whole team had a bubble braid. And so I FaceTimed Marley after their game, and I was like, Marley, look at all your little fans. And my Crosby and her teammates went wild that I had FaceTimed Crosby, and Crosby answered. So these kids really are getting the exposure to inspire this next generation.
Absolutely. Lynn, what about you?
Those are the storylines that are so meaningful and impactful, obviously from a grassroots level, but as we think about the Division I Women's Basketball Championship, and as you said, we've continued to see this growth. It's not new. We've been growing for a long period of time, and the success we've seen historically, but of course, there's been this catapult forward over the course of the last 5 years or so. Much of that can be attributed back to 2023 when we had the storylines around Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and all of that. Well, what that tells us when I mention those names is that it is about our players and our coaches. That is the number one thing out of the gate. But with that, then, we need to create these environments that fans of all ages are finding these connections to the players to understand, like, what is it I have similar or what is it about their stories that compel me to want to be part of this entire cultural phenomenon of women's sports, of which women's basketball is a preeminent leader within? So with that, when we see the successes we've had around our championship, the partnership we have with ESPN, for example, is significant. You have with ESPN the relevance and the reach because of the many different platforms that they have, the opportunity that all 67 of our games out of the 68-team championship are broadcast nationally, the international reach that we're experiencing, and again, this is because of the partnership around the championship that the NCAA has with ESPN. For example, I think it was like 162 countries last year that the men's and women's March Madness games were distributed internationally. This year it's up to, I think it's 227 countries, and it is the exact same for men's and women's basketball in 227 countries. So the global reach that we have is imperative. Showing up for games throughout the regular season and the entirety of the championship matters. We sell out Women's Final Four. We have for up to close 15 years straight now. It's also important, though, that we reach back into the entirety of the championship and into the regular season to make sure we're creating this fun product, a reason for fans to come back, and those are our focus points. Last year, we saw records for both consumption through ESPN, broadcast viewership, but we also saw within the top 3 of attendance throughout the entire championship.
Amanda, I want to talk about just the different roles that you all have is so important on the stage. I mean, we talk about committee leadership, national strategy, head coaching. What decisions or even investments have you seen truly push the needle for women's basketball?
Yeah, well, on the local level, certainly, I think we've seen over the years that athletic departments and universities are valuing women's sports and women's basketball in particular. So that we're really seeing a lot of that. At the national level, you know, we now have a situation where teams can earn units as they're in the NCAA championship for each game that they play, which is unprecedented. So there's a revenue driver there. There's something to reach for. Something to incentivize universities. So, you know, the investments by the broadcast partner, ESPN, is huge. You know, we're taking things out. The NCAA staff's done a fantastic job of getting things out on social channels. Autumn, you've done a wonderful job on behalf of women's basketball of that. And that's getting people's attention. I think we have hit a flywheel. I think this is where we are for a reason. Quality of the teams, the stories of these wonderful women who are on the court, and all the work that people are doing to make it happen.
Lynn, what about you? What have you seen push the needle for women's basketball?
I would emphasize again, I think that the different platforms that we have to meet fans where they are at and all the demographics of fans. And that's what you also see with the type of fans we have in women's basketball is that it's all different age brackets. And we've seen particular growth recently, for example, in consumption through ESPN of the championship of the age bracket of 18 to 34-year-old women. Why is that? Well, some of it is because of, again, the connectivity to the players, the name, image, and likeness, NIL, the changes that have happened within the NCAA provides avenues for our players to really, their personal brands to be put out there, of which when I talk about those age demographics, there's a different type of connection that can be made. We've seen the carryover, if you will, from the WNBA and otherwise, where both NCAA college women's basketball and the WNBA really are working off of one another because it's primarily our players that end up in the WNBA, but you also see the case of the WNBA recognizing and reaching back into the college space, the examples that those players serve, again, whether it's fashion, how they use social media, the name, image, and likeness efforts around that. So to add to everything that's already been said, I think that's one in particular that has really helped transform our game and, again, meet fans where they're at.
Coach, with all of these changes, what have you noticed from your lens, how that directly impacts the sport?
Well, I think from the digital media is so important, and I'll add to that storytelling through digital media. I just became an Alana Myers-Taylor bobsledding fan because I learned about her story as a mother, and now she's the oldest U.S. women's gold medalist. And so I don't know if I would have watched that bobsledding race if I didn't learn about her story before. So storytelling is really important. You know, if someone can't go to a game, they can stream a game while they're cooking dinner. They can share a highlight. They can send a graphic through their group text of alumni. So I think just sharing, especially the digital media space, has been so important for our game.
I completely agree. I have the honor and privilege of sharing these athletes, even coaches' stories, and just to peel back those layers of who these people are off the court. Adversity, comebacks, what keeps them going, that's so special. And if you can make that connection, that creates fandom. You want to follow those stories along the way. So I have the honor and privilege of doing that with the NCAA. So grateful just to cover these incredible women that we're seeing take on the court. Molly, I want to stay with you because as a head coach, we're seeing this surge in visibility, which directly impacts student athletes when you think about expectations, NIL, just everything that they're asked to do. How have you seen that kind of shift in a way in this era?
Yeah, I mean, everything's amplified. You know, recruiting's faster and broader. Media is constant. Expectations are higher. NIL's the real deal. So here I am seeing student athletes having to brand and market and educate themselves on what that looks like, up their game in financial literacy, time management. I didn't have to do any of that as a player. Now, could I have wanted to maybe do a camp and monetize it? Absolutely. But I think what they're doing is great. I believe that they're getting a head start. You know, NIL is transformational. It's real world profiting from their hard work, which it's going to help their future. I think as a coach, it's my responsibility to make sure that they're equipped with these resources to succeed and take advantage of the marketplace. Also keep them grounded in their priorities. Make sure they're humble, and we always say the work is the reward. That's one of our sayings in our program. So to make sure that they love the grind, they understand how to use it and that opportunity moving forward. But they've been well equipped, and I'm really proud of the responsibility that they've taken, and these student athletes are seeing some huge and tremendous advantages to this NIL era.
Yeah, these women are bosses on and off the court. Their day-to-day lives.
Little mini entrepreneurs.
Exactly, and they are crushing it. I love to see it. What will be the next benchmark for women's basketball, the next indicator that truly lets us know that this game is pushing forward and reaching another level? Lynn, I'll start with you.
I think there's two things I'm going to point out. One, just to build on first the player side of it. We haven't said this, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. They are damn good basketball players. The skill.
Yeah, clap.
You can clap.
Absolutely. Yes.
So it's not just everything else that's happening. It is also the fact that what we see on the floor as a sports fan, as a basketball fan, you also know when you see good basketball. The game is so different than when the four of us played at the college level. The players are more skilled, they're more athletic, they are quicker, they're more physical. It is a beautiful game to see that. So I think as we continue to see the evolution of the sport itself, inherently you're going to continue to see the evolution of the game of basketball in the way that women play it. The second thing, when we talk about really what's next, one thing I will point out around the championship specifically, we continue to embrace the partnership we have with ESPN, and you'll hear in a little more around some of the initiatives around that, and really how ESPN continues to lean in as our broadcast rights partner for the championship, but also what they do around the regular season to amplify the sport, in addition to other broadcast entities that are out there. The viewership for this season, ESPN recently reported, is I believe it's 33% up year over year for the regular season. So you know that when you have entities that it's visible, you can see it, the fans respond to that because they're also demanding it. And the last thing I would point out for the championship, as we look toward the future, because of the demand we've seen around the viewership and the attendance, in 2027 and in 2028, our women's 2028 and 2029, the women's Final Four is going to be in 2 domed venues. Now, it's going to be seating that reaches up to around 30,000, like a half set of a dome. And that is because we've had such demand around our championship. So the strategic decision with the
Good morning and welcome to the March 11th, 2026 Economic Development and the Arts Subcommittee. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And then I'd like to have our City Attorney, David Benton, please explain public comment.
Morning, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. During citizen comment, members of the public may address the subcommittee for up to 3 minutes on issues of interest or concern to them. The interests being addressed, however, must be subject matters that fall within the jurisdictions of the city and which the city has power to act. The Arizona Open Meeting Law permits the subcommittee members to listen to the comments, but prohibits members from discussing or acting on the matters presented. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, sir. And now I will have Elsie Duarte introduce herself. She is our interpreter today.
Thank you, Madam Chair O'Brien. My name is Elsie Duarte, and I will be providing Spanish interpretation during today's Economic Development and Arts Subcommittee session. I will now take a moment to address our Spanish-speaking audience. Buenos días, mi nombre es Elsie Duarte. Estaré interpretándole a nuestra audiencia de habla hispana durante esta sesión del Subcomité de Desarrollo Económico y Artes. Para escuchar la reunión en español presencialmente, favor de pasar por unos audífonos ubicados a la entrada de la sala de cámaras. Las personas registradas para hacer un comentario público sepan que podrán hablar libremente sin interrupciones durante el tiempo disponible. Sus comentarios serán interpretados al momento que usted termine de hablar. Gracias. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Elsie. Our next item is public comment. I do not believe we have any members of the public to speak, so we will move on to agenda item 1, which is approval of the minutes for February 11th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Our items, we have 2 items on consent agenda. Do we have?
I will move to approve items 2 and 3.
Okay. Second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item number 4 is our Phoenix Economic Overview and Update, which is part 2. And this is the Global Positioning and Market Access. So I'd like to welcome Ryan Toohill, our Community and Economic Development Director, Nathan Wright, our Deputy Community and Economic Development Director, Claudia Whitehead, our Program Manager from that department, as well as Joseph McEwen, who is our International Relations Administrator. Thank you all for joining us today, and the floor is yours.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, it's good to be with you again today for part 2 of our 6-part series on the transformation of the Phoenix economy. Today we'll discuss Phoenix's rise as a global economic power and how we are competing globally for capital, talent, and investment. I'm joined today by Nate Wright, who leads our Deputy Director of Economic Development overseeing business development, Claudia Whitehead, who leads our bioscience and healthcare strategies, and Joseph McEwen, our International Relations Administrator and CEO of Phoenix Sister Cities. They will be speaking to you on their subject matter or subject areas shortly after we do a little bit of introduction. So as we talked about in our first part of the series, Phoenix has had one of the fastest economic turnarounds since the Great Recession. And this is because of intentional strategies, policies, land use decisions, and partnerships that have helped push our city towards global growth. And so as I just mentioned today, we're competing on a global stage for investment, talent, and market access. We've really developed a strategy here in the city of creating innovation hubs across Phoenix that are really helping to catalyze growth. And these clusters have continued to grow since the Great Recession. And today what we're really noticing is they're becoming more interconnected across industries, interconnected across neighborhoods. And that's really helping to push greater collaboration and also greater innovation. Those innovation hubs are anchored by 6 key sectors. You can see them here on the screen. It's advanced manufacturing, aerospace and defense, which includes newer emerging sectors like advanced air mobility and electronic and autonomous vehicles, biosciences and healthcare, our circular economy, corporate headquarters, and then emerging technologies, which is a kind of a catch-all for everything from artificial intelligence to quantum and so on. As CED, we help to facilitate company locates and expansions, job creation, and private investment across our 6 target industries using really a multifaceted approach. This includes building connections with site selectors who help companies identify their next location, attending industry trade shows, to be able to discuss and meet with companies and begin to build relationships. We go out and meet with our existing companies to make sure that they are remaining here in Phoenix and figuring out ways to help them to grow and expand. We talk to brokers and real estate developers, and then of course we partner with state, regional, and even international partners, all to help build leads that can ultimately be converted into company locates and expansions here in Phoenix. That work so far this year has resulted in 11 business locates. We had a goal this year of 12, so we're well on our way, and we still have the back half of the fiscal year, and our pipeline remains very robust. Together, these wins have resulted in over 2,600 job creation announcements, 1.3 million square feet of commercial space occupied, and $647 million in capital investment. And those average salaries of those jobs that are created is $96,830, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. We also benefit from our strategic location. We are seeing export-oriented industries driving our economic growth thanks to our proximity and strong relationships with trading partners in Mexico and Canada. And we're increasingly seeing opportunities for nearshoring, which means the production or businesses that are locating closer to their home country. And where this is benefiting Arizona and Phoenix is that we're seeing as being within a major trade corridor, greater demand and opportunities for logistics hubs, production facilities, and even some headquarters activity. And so all of this together is really helping to be advantageous to our international economic development and growth. Additionally, our important Phoenix Hermosillo trade office that we invest in has also been helping to drive activity in Mexico. We've assisted over 812 businesses over the last 5 fiscal years, helping 26 of them incorporate in Arizona and locating them, nine of them here in Phoenix. And this is a very robust partnership that members of our staff engage with this office quite frequently. Additionally, we also just have seen really record-breaking growth in international investment here in Arizona and in Phoenix. Over the last 10 years, we've benefited from greater brand recognition, building those international partnerships I've talked about. And as a result, just last month, the Arizona Commerce Authority reported that Phoenix, that we are a leader since 2020 in international investment here in Arizona. And that growth is really driven by Mexico, Canada, and Taiwan, among other countries. And so we're seeing those exports really be driven in areas like 3rd in the nation for computer equipment, 5th in the nation for semiconductors, and 10th in the nation for aerospace parts and production, all which are target industries that we work to attract here to Phoenix. And kind of as a testament to that information, we've seen our CED locates grow by 30% in the last 10 years, international locates. So we're certainly benefiting here in the city of that increased activity. And so what does this all mean for the residents of Phoenix? Well, as I mentioned, when jobs that are facilitated by CED locates pay on average $96,830 a year. So very high-paying, high-quality jobs. We've added, as a city, more than 262,000 jobs from 2010 to 2024. So greater economic opportunity and mobility for our residents. And then we've seen a 37% increase in exports of Arizona businesses from 2024 to 2025. And while that's a statewide number, we know that more businesses are benefiting from increased exports. And so we're seeing our international efforts really help our business community as well. So with that introduction, I'm pleased to now hand it over to Nate Wright, who's going to walk you through some of our target industries. And Claudia is going to talk to us about bioscience, and then Joseph will wrap up with international. So Nate.
Thanks, Ryan. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. It's fitting that we start with semiconductor industry.
Hit the button.
There we go. As it's the topic that everyone wants to talk to us about. You know, we were thrilled, we were blown away in 2020 when there was a $12 billion announcement by TSMC here in Phoenix. And that is, it's beyond belief. We're at 165 billion. Last March, that grew. And it's just amazing. We're feeling the effects of it all throughout our entire city. You know, TSMC, they've been a great company to work with. Our relationship continues to grow. They're a top 10 market cap company in the entire world, and they've done everything that they've told us they were going to do. And last November, there was a news article about how the yields that are being produced here in Arizona are on par or exceeding those in Taiwan. You know, we feel that momentum in January when they went out and acquired 900 additional acres from the State Land Department. You know, something that's lost in all of this is it's also the largest construction project in North America going on. So we have thousands of construction workers here spending money in Phoenix. You'll have to go up there later this year and see the cranes. It's a crane count that we constantly are talking about how many cranes, and they've told us the challenge in finding more cranes. So it's a good problem to have. But they're building the most complicated buildings in the world, which is absolutely amazing. Their supply chain that is settling in here, and I'm going to talk more about it right now, but it's also putting us on the map for new technologies like space, quantum, aerospace and tech, medical device. So we spend a lot of time talking about how can we use this supply chain that is here to attract additional companies. This is a great map because it shows in literally every council district in the city, we have TSMC suppliers. There's a presence, and we love the semiconductor industry because of this. Every one semiconductor job, there's a reverberating effect. There's a 5.8% multiplier throughout our city. So we're feeling the rippling effects of this major investment. We're working with suppliers of suppliers of suppliers, and it just goes on. And it's, you know, a lot of these companies are from elsewhere. They're from not just Taiwan, but from Japan, they're from South Korea, from the Netherlands. And it's also our existing companies here in town. They're expanding, they're growing, they're taking on more space. So we're seeing great activity in all these areas. I'd like to talk about corporate headquarters. You know, we're ranked 4th as a corporate headquarters destination. You know, the city offers a diverse portfolio. You can have the urban environment, downtown feel to a suburban office campus. And, you know, coming out of the pandemic, we've seen some office vacancy rise. But behind your mayor and council's leadership, we've done a good job of protecting some of those buildings. And because of that, we've seen Kelwood companies take down a building in downtown. We saw U-Haul acquire a building in Midtown. And we see 90% of our locates go into existing space. And that's great if you're a company coming from a foreign country. If you have the ability to find a building, if it's on the market, you can buy that. A lot of them prefer to purchase their own buildings. There's also a lot of new office growth especially along the 101 freeway in North Phoenix. We're seeing amazing corporate campuses. Ryan and I toured the Republic Services building off new headquarters and also the Fender Guitar headquarters. And these are state-of-the-art, brand new. We have a lot of feedback that we're going to give Public Works Facilities Group to, you know, see if we can't plant any seeds about our office space. But these are beautiful offices. They're highly amenitized. A lot of times these companies want smaller space, and they're wanting to just encourage their workforce to come back. I want to talk a little bit about aerospace and defense. You know, we're the #3 most attractive state for aerospace and defense. And it's not just the great weather and flying conditions that we have, it's our engineering talent. And we have some amazing legacy companies that have focused on that through the years. Honeywell is one of them. And recently they just spun out their Honeywell Aerospace division, and that's located up in Deer Valley. They're focused on new drone technology and amazing things happening up there. And a lot of, you know, thanks to the leadership here from mayor and council, we've become really a place that these new mobility companies can come and operate and try new things. And we're seeing that all over the city. And a lot of these are startups, and you know, we have been named the #1 large city for startups. And that's a place, you know, we're a great place for companies to come. And they're not just companies that spin out of larger companies, they're also new foreign startups that we've talked with at CES and these other trade shows. And some of those here I've listed: SpectraWorks, Aurora, and we're starting to get a lot of new accelerators and incubators that are coming forward. The Southwest Mission Acceleration Center, with Drew Trojanowski, this is one of 4 across the country where they're federally funded, and they're focused on defense technology, but also dual use, so defense and commercial technology. And it's a great place for them to come, grow their companies, find investment, as well as Tesoro with Andy Lombard. We've been working with him and building these pipelines that are coming from outside of the country. And with that, I will turn it over to something that is all important to us, which is bioscience and healthcare. Claudia.
Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. And good morning, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee. It's great to be with you this morning. Under your leadership, we have made growing the biosciences and healthcare in Phoenix a priority because our local community and residents benefit first from the bio-innovations that positively impact their health, but then also it creates great quality jobs for our residents. And a recent study showed that the bioscience jobs on average pay 30% higher than the rest of the private sector in Arizona. So these are great quality jobs that are being created here in Phoenix. And the investment within Phoenix has experienced unprecedented growth. And you can see from this slide, since 2020, almost $7 billion in new capital investment have been created, more than 8 million square feet of new primary facilities, and with the creation of 14,000 new quality jobs for our residents. And much of this growth is due to the purpose-built infrastructure in place within Phoenix to support the acceleration of bio-innovations from discovery in the lab and to delivery in the patient. This slide just demonstrates a small sampling of what we have here in Phoenix. And also to note, with the shift of the industry over the last decade, it has been important for us to provide as much focus and support on the early stage companies as it is with the large global leaders. And an example of this is we have a company that is homegrown here called BackVax, and they were an early stage company that came out of the Phoenix Children's Hospital to develop vaccines against ear infections. And they caught the attention of an Australian company, GPN Vaccines. And so GPN Vaccines has acquired BackVax, but they are committed to continuing to scale and grow here in Phoenix because of the ecosystem that has been built to support that growth here due to your leadership. Phoenix is also home to a number of incubators and accelerators, and this really helps these companies to be able to have access to the resources to grow. And it is also, there's also the soft landing programs to help attract new global companies. And going back to one of the accelerator programs, it's through Mayo Clinic and ASU have renamed their MedTech Accelerator to the Healthcare Innovations Accelerator. And this has been really one of those key areas and key assets for Phoenix, because with each of the cohorts over the past couple of years, a growing number of international companies have been attracted to be a part of that accelerator. And we've seen international companies that are part of that accelerator locate here in Phoenix. And so one of those is NeuroCatch, a neuro diagnostics company that has located here in Phoenix with their headquarters, and a number of others like My Health from the UK and others. So the accelerators are really helping us to attract and put us on the map to be able to introduce companies to the ecosystem that we have here. Phoenix is also home with this infrastructure, the purpose-built infrastructure. We're home to the world-class research hospitals. And they have their own built-in institutes of research excellence where they're able to advance their own technologies and discoveries, along with being able to conduct the clinical trials. And so partnering with those global pharmaceutical companies to advance and have our residents have access to the most cutting-edge technologies available. And Arizona is ranked 8th in the nation for clinical trials, with the majority of those taking place right here in Phoenix because of our extensive hospital system. We are also home to the top-tier research universities. So Arizona State University and the University of Arizona last year, each of them had $1 billion invested in research. And that places them in top-tier research universities on a global scale. And the universities are key for the collaborations with the industry, and they are also a great asset for our companies to have access to the core facilities within the universities to help advance those technologies so they don't have to invest in real expensive equipment, but they're able to collaborate with the universities and the talent within the universities. We're also home to the Institutes of Research Excellence, such as TGen, the Translational Genomics Research Institute. They have really made Phoenix a global leader in precision medicine, and it's really, they have had more of huge success with more than 25 companies being spun out of TGen. And then also on this slide, you can see SCHOTT Minifabs. SCHOTT Minifab is international manufacturing company. So SCHOTT is based out of Germany, but their Minifab is out of Australia. So we have a lot of Australian connections right now. And so this is SCHOTT's North American Life Sciences Center of Excellence that is here in Phoenix. And the infrastructure for this driving of the translational discovery from the bench to the delivery is found that it takes place throughout the city, but it also is really focused or centered on our 4 world-class life science hubs that each has their own specialty and focus for companies to locate, connect, and collaborate while being interconnected within Phoenix. And a key part of the infrastructure to support the local, national, and global connections is really Venture Cafe Phoenix that you all have supported, and we have still continued to see more than 150 innovators from the entire community come out to attend these weekly gatherings. It serves as a convening platform not only for our local community, but also as we host international delegations from all over the world have attended this. And thanks to Madam Chair's leadership with Taipei Sister Cities, The City of Phoenix, ASU, and the Arizona Commerce Authority and Taiwan recently signed a declaration of collaboration to celebrate the opening of the Taiwan AI Smart Health Showcase Center within the 850 PVC building on the Phoenix Bioscience Core Campus. And so we have 18 companies from Taiwan that have been introduced here and are making amazing connections within our ecosystem to further grow their companies here in the US market. And that's based right out of here in downtown. And the Venture Cafe Phoenix is also part of this international network of 16 international cities. And during the recent global gathering in Tokyo, Phoenix was front and center among the 1,200 attendees in Tokyo, where we were awarded for the second time the Making It Happen Award among Venture Cafe Global Network. Also, the city's hackathon was featured as a model for other Venture Cafe cities to be able to engage the whole community to come up with solutions for problems within their communities. And Phoenix's own Gravitrex mobility founder, Kira Burns, was awarded the Pitch to Tokyo CIC prize in Tokyo. So really proud moment for all of us here in Phoenix with the great success and engagement of Venture Cafe Phoenix here. So, and with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan.
Yeah, thanks, Claudia. We're just going to now move into our last section on economic diplomacy and talk a little bit about how our Phoenix Sister Cities partnerships, our trade offices, and our relationships with our partners are helping to build a platform for global growth. And I'm happy to pass the mic to Joseph, who's going to walk you through those slides. Joseph?
Thank you, Ryan. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. As you well know, Phoenix Sister Cities has been the backbone of the city's economic diplomacy for decades. And in practical terms, that has meant that we've kept key relationships with key markets strong, especially between major project announcements. Right? And we've done that with pathways that we create through introductions, delegations, convenings, even soft landing opportunities for international companies. A good example of this is perhaps our engagement with Grenoble. So in 2024, we had an outbound delegation. We reconnected with them and companies at CES in 2025, and then later that year, a follow-up business delegation back to Grenoble and the region. This is how Phoenix attracts capital, talent, and partnerships, engaging with these opportunities, and as you know, for the long term. These are long-term relationships. Another good example, and you'll see a photo of that from our most recent Global Links luncheon last month, which I know some of you were in attendance, where we brought key strategic leaders across industries, research, education, around emerging tech that sounds very sci-fi, space economy, quantum, but have true and real immediate follow-ups that are tangible. We're in active conversations on quantum opportunities as a direct result of that luncheon for here in Phoenix and Arizona. And we've secured partnerships and speakers from that luncheon and that networking for our upcoming Phoenix Global Forum. And this is how we look to utilize these convenings. Find those opportunities for continuous long-term engagement and follow up on those and execute. But the civic side of this work is just as important. And I think the best recent example of that is Double 10. And I want to thank you, Chair O'Brien, and your office for your leadership on it. You have made Double 10 a signature event for Phoenix. And as we heard recently from Taiwan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, this is now the largest Double 10 celebration in all of North America. A massive accomplishment and a testament, right, to the strength of our relationships, not just with our international partners like in Taiwan, but our relationships with our local community and our employers and their families. But Phoenix and Sister Cities is not doing this work alone. This is not out of one office. We're not doing it in a silo. We are part of an ecosystem. And this slide here illustrates just a number of those core players. We have universities, GPEC and the ACA, trade groups, the consular community, other civic partners. And Sister Cities looks to utilize this network to keep our connectivity and opportunities strong, not just within each of our organizations, but with our international partners. You'll see here especially Sky Harbor noted, right? Because connectivity is market access, right? It's what makes trade, investment, executive travel, technical visits possible for not just our global firms here in Phoenix, but as we attract others to Phoenix. I will say that Sister Cities is where we bring opportunities and ongoing engagement to this connectivity so that when opportunities present themselves, Phoenix is already there, where can hit the ground running rather than starting from scratch. And with that, I'd be happy to turn it back over to Ryan.
Madam Chair, that concludes our presentation. I want to thank Joseph, Claudia, and Nate for being here today. Hopefully we've given you a good amount of information on how we're targeting sectors, working to attract businesses, and utilizing every tool available within our CED arsenal to build those relationships into new global markets. And with that, we'll be happy to take any questions from the committee. Thank you.
Wonderful. Councilman Robinson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's more of a comment than a question than anything else. Last week I had the opportunity to sit down with the leadership from China Airlines. They're headquartered in District 6, and they had nothing but good things to say about economic development. I mean, just all the things that you guys have done in reaching out to them, helping them find their way. They could not have been more appreciative. So I told them I would pass that along. A few other things we're working on with the airport, but they're very happy and looking forward to what they believe will be a long-term relationship, and it started with you guys. So thank you very much. The presentation was exceptional, so thank you for the information. Thank you, Madam Chair, for the time.
Thank you so much for sharing, Councilman Robinson. Councilwoman Stark.
Thank you. And first off, I agree with Joseph that the Double 10 is a great event. I went to the initial one and it just seems to keep growing. So congratulations on that, Madam Chair. This is a lot of great information. It really shows that we're doing a lot to reach out globally. I do have one question. As far as sister cities, are there any other cities we might be trying to zero in on so that we can grow our global economy?
That is a very good question, Madam Chair, Councilwoman Stark, and members of the subcommittee. Claudia actually alluded to one earlier. And as we look to developing new sister city relationships, our economic strategy has to be a greater part of that. So there are a number of cities that this council has even talked about Medellin, Colombia as one, but there are others, as Claudia alluded to. Melbourne, Australia is of high importance as well. Nate talked about the suppliers of the suppliers of the suppliers. Ryan talked about our nearshoring priorities. This is about building a connectivity across industries and across the world. And our partnerships with critical cities and countries will ensure our long-term economic success. So there are a number we're exploring, none that I can announce at the moment. But Australia is definitely one that's on the top of the list, and they're very much interested in Phoenix. And I think the point that we're trying to make, that Ryan has made, is that Phoenix is on the global stage. And we now have the luxury of picking and choosing our key partners, and we should be strategic about it.
I appreciate that. And again, thank you for this presentation. You guys really are doing tremendous work, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilwoman Stark. Councilwoman Pastor. Okay.
Thank you for the presentation. It demonstrates all the work that has been that has been put into play, or the foundation of the work has been into play, and of past predecessors making sure, planting and seeding and making sure it's happening, and now it's growing. Thank you for that. I guess the other piece is with what I've learned in the sense of listening to the mayor on several of her listening sessions, or I'm calling them listening sessions, but more in the business market of TSMC, and how the fact that we were able to attract TSMC, and now the suppliers that supply TSMC are wanting now to move here. And I think that's a great testament to those that sat here and voted and made sure that this was an investment that we needed for the city of Phoenix. And so I applaud everybody that was part of that and continues to be part of it. I also think the sister cities is important because we need to be strategic on the sister cities and looking where those suppliers are and where they come from, and a global arena and mass, and then how do we attract them to the city of Phoenix and be able to come and invest their businesses or their chains, the supply chains that is needed. It's important because you start with the big of TSMC, and then you just start layer after layer after layer after layer. And it doesn't matter what layer we're able to land a business. It's even a further layer down there because they get a chain, supply chain, and it just continues. And so I just want to thank you for the great work, because what that means is there's more work. And I want to congratulate the team for that, because we're small and mighty, and we're making sure it's happening. And so it's a great time to celebrate your work, because things don't happen without your work. So I appreciate you, and thank you for that.
Thank you for those remarks, Councilwoman Pastor. I too want to thank you for the presentation. I'd like to just highlight a couple of things, though, that you mentioned again. I had learned earlier this year that between 2014 and 2025, we had raised the average salary from $36,000 to $86,000. But I'd like to note that in your presentation today, in the jobs you brought just in the last 6 or so, 7 months, that average salary is at $96,830. So I applaud you on continuing to raise the bar for our community members and our citizens. That is very important. Us ranking fourth as a corporate headquarters destination is really an exciting factor to also highlight. The fact that we came out of the Great Recession, and leaders before me made a very conscientious decision, and our mayor was one of those people, to go after TSMC. And as Councilwoman Pastor was just mentioning, right, the ripple effects of them coming and their suppliers and the suppliers' suppliers and so on and so forth down the line is just incredible. Claudia mentioned that the life sciences jobs that we're creating are 30% higher also in pay. So what is so incredible to me is that we have had leaders who made those hard decisions, and we had exciting results about bringing those businesses here. But what didn't happen is we didn't rest on our laurels and say, okay, we have TSMC, we have some biosciences. We continue to work hard every day, and you all, work really hard every day to make sure we're continuing to build the trust with companies, with countries, with international players, to make sure that we are raising the bar for our citizens and for not just our community, but our surrounding community, right? Phoenix loves a win, but I know that not everybody's gonna maybe pick us, but if they pick around us in Arizona, that is exciting too, and I'm glad that we're part of that. So thank you for all of that. I was reminded, though, also at a event that I attended, one of the business owners raised his hand to ask a question and said, you know, no offense, but TSMC sucks up a lot of oxygen, and I'm a small business owner. So I just want to make sure that in our 6-part series that we are going to talk about the small businesses that we hold near and dear in Phoenix and that are also the backbone of this community because they support the TSMCs and the suppliers of the suppliers. So thank you for that. And to Joseph, you have your work cut out for you because as I meet different people from across the country who know about sister cities, they always say to me, you guys do it a little different. And I say, yes, we do. It's great to be about cultural exchanges and friendship, but we also look at the economic aspect. And that just, I think, helps us to be more successful, and it's being noticed by others who know about the Phoenix Sister Cities programs. So thank you for all of that hard work. You guys are amazing. Keep up the hard work because we still have a lot to do for our citizens and our businesses here in Phoenix. If there are no other questions. Oh yes, I'm sorry. We do have some board members here, some folks from, could you stand, please? Thank you so much for joining us this morning and for your hard work on Phoenix Sister Cities. Thank you. Thank you for the assist from Councilman Robinson. So just great work, and we couldn't do it. It is true. We have so many volunteers in the city of Phoenix with Phoenix Sister Cities as well as many of our other boards and commissions, but we could not be the great city we are without all of them as well. So again, thank you. We look forward to parts 3 through 6, I think we still have left. I had to think about that for a second. And appreciate it very much. Next on the agenda is public comment, but I don't think we have any. Do we have any agenda requests? Okay. It looks like we are good to be adjourned. Everybody have a great Wednesday.
We sacrifice a lot to be on this truck each and every day. So we thank you guys for entrusting us in the community. So I thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I really do. I didn't grow up here. I grew up in a small town in Texas. So I thank you guys for having me here in the city of Phoenix on the south side. I really thank you. So appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anthony, and thank you, Councilman Robinson.